errors, like a crossed out name. And then there's the replica cup, permanent cup, created in 1993. That one stays at the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Okay. So another thing that makes the Hockey Hall of Fame so great, aside from
the fake cup is sitting there.
The replica cups, that's so hockey.
Oh, wow. Let's go see that.
Let's keep the fake one behind the glass.
This isn't real, but look at it. It's right there.
Aside from the fact that it's in a mall, literally, and that it's about the size of, I don't know, half of Bloomingdale's. That's the good thing about the Hockey Hall of Fame, which I've been to. And it's easy to get to because it's in downtown Toronto, and it's just, again, it's literally part of a mall. It's a like a, what do you call those? When there's like
a kiosk?
No, not a little bigger than a kiosk. Like when the stores that they have at the end, like Nordstrom.
Oh, the anchor stores.
Anchor stores. It's like one of the anchor stores of a mall.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You get yourself a new cell phone case, a slice at Sbarro, and visit the Hockey Hall of Fame.
There it is.
It's essentially what I did.
All right, we'll go over some World Cup action from the weekend too. We'll do that next.
Action used loosely.
A lot of goals scored yesterday, Fred.
A lot of goals.
I'll take your word for it. You can educate me. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox lost again, 6-4 at Fenway Park to Texas Rangers, denying the Sox a 3-game sweep. Last place Red Sox have tonight off. They'll play Toronto at Fenway Park tomorrow evening. Carolina won the Stanley Cup last night. They beat Las Vegas in Game 6, 3-0. And Conn Smythe Trophy goes to Jordan Staal for being the playoff MVP. Now that the Knicks have won the NBA championship, it's time for rumors leading up to the NBA draft, which is next week. The online rumors have Miami as the leader for a possible deal for Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo, but they also have Brad Stevens and the Celtics hopping into the race. And at the World Cup last night, Sweden beat Tunisia 5-1, Ivory Coast beat Ecuador 1-0. Netherlands and Japan played to a 2-2 draw, and Germany beat Curacao 7-1. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy, Tuukka Rask, and Charlie McAvoy. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR for your free consultation. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right, if you've been injured in a car accident at work or in a slip and fall, you got to get Glassman. Why? Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers are the best. They've been around Massachusetts for over 30 years. I've met Jeffrey. Toucher and Hardy. What else is going on?
Well, World Cup in full swing now, and I found out last night one of my neighbors is from the Netherlands. I had no idea. We're all outside. We're having, again, an impromptu kind of like, dog meetup, right? Starts with one dog barking for the other dog that it sees out in the yard. So I take my dog down to that yard, and all of a sudden another dog shows up, and two more dogs show up, and we're all standing out there. And much later, one of the neighbors comes out and says, "Oh yeah, very disappointed because of this goal."
You watch the score from this one now. I've said that. This goes. Oh, they have as well! They have scored! I called it! Astonishing! 2-2!
And forgive me for stating what obviously we all understood from that call. Japan scored in the 88th minute to tie the Netherlands at 2, and the Netherlands, who had a 1-0 lead and a 2-1 lead, gave that up. So thoughts and prayers to my neighbor from the Netherlands, whose team did not beat Japan yesterday.
That's unfortunate.
But you know what the Japanese fans did after the match, Fred? They stuck around and they cleaned up after themselves. There's lots of footage of them going around the stands, picking up cups and wrappers and things like that, because that's what you do in a polite society.
That's not true, is it?
It is absolutely true.
They stuck around at AT&T Stadium, that 100,000-seat stadium, to pick up after themselves.
I will show you the footage.
I went to the movies yesterday, and they serve you dinner at this movie if you order it. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if you're supposed to bus your own table, too. Like, do you bus your own table if you'll go to, like, the Applebee's? Stand up and...
Well, I put everything together. It's part of my method of DWC, dining waste consolidation.
Yes. But, I mean, you don't actively stand up and...
No, that's not allowed. You don't get to take it back to the busing station.
If you could, would you?
Sure.
Okay.
What would you do with the plates at a movie theater?
Well, I don't get plates at a movie theater.
Okay. Well, it's a lot, meaning a lot. At least 30% of movie theaters, you have the option of getting food that they will bring out to you and serve you. Mm-hmm. So say by some miracle you end up at one of these places, which are so far from where you live.
Fingers crossed. One day, hope I have that kind of money.
Well,
then they have a catered meal served to me at a movie.
I mean, listen, the finest chicken. Let me do this.
You ever had a plate at a movie theater?
Yes, I have.
Let me do this for you. The chicken fingers. Mwah. So
multiple times.
You get an unreal, like a heavy plate, sterling silver. They bring it out. That's the whole presentation. So they hand you. I am curious about this. So they hand you your chicken fingers or what have you, your quesadillas, and you eat those, and the movie ends. Now, are you walking around with the plate, looking where to put it?
I would know going in, and I would want to know the protocol. And if there is a place to put it, yes, I would take it with me.
I don't think I actually looked yesterday with you in mind, and I don't think there is a place to put it. So my thought there is thus: if there's no place to put the food, the plates for the food, then isn't that all under the umbrella of garbage? Now think about that.
One man's trash, another man's treasure.
If they have to go through and pick up that stuff anyway, then what is it to pick up some glasses of soda off the, paper cups of soda off the floor? Mm-hmm. That's all.
Okay. Well, I like to take the soda with me sometimes. You have a little sip on the way home.
Didn't say there's anything wrong. You know how many large sodas I had during the film? Because it was long. Real long.
What'd you see?
Whatever that Spielberg movie
How is it?
Don't go see it.
Oh, no. My son wants to see it, and I was going to take him.
I mean, it's not like it's not like torture. It's 2.5 hours long. So just go
But
in.
it doesn't approach like Close Encounters or anything like that.
It's not E.T. or like Raiders of the Lost Ark, no. But 2.5 hours. I drank 3 of those because you could make your own soda.
Yeah,
I had 3 of those, 3 Ps, and then I thought the movie was about to end, but I couldn't hold it any longer, and I had to run to the bathroom, not because of the movie, but because there was a legitimate fear I was going to lose control of my bladder and pee myself.
Right.
Yes, and I said,
Fear or
stop
hope?
the film. Stop the film. I'm putting on a show.
Everyone look at me.
Look at me.
Saturday night at Boston Stadium, Scotland took on Haiti.
Gannon Doak, happy to take on experience. It comes to John McGinn, and it's found a way in. A moment.
Shouldn't we all take on experience?
Yes.
Hey, let's all make a pact to take on experience.
And then Scottish people celebrated the only way Scottish people can.
By taking over Boston like they've taken over Boston, according to the news?
Well, that with their bagpipes and all their traditional Scottish songs.
Have you seen the news? They've taken over Scotland's taken over the city.
Well, they marched. They marched to Fenway for the Red Sox game. They've taken over.
Yeah, what do you do
The
with those
coolest
drums once you
people-
get to the ballpark?
The coolest people in Scotland have all got together and they decided to bring snare drums. And I'm sure they all live in Scotland. I'm sure they're all in on planes from Scotland where they brought snare drums and they all marched to Fenway, the very coolest people.
Well, I was flipping back and forth between that and the basketball game on Saturday night. We had a friend over watching the game with us, and I said to my wife and her friend, I said, the soccer, look at the screen here, guys. I'm like, now I can't tell from the players which team is Scotland and which team is Haiti. I can't tell the difference between these guys.
Yeah, very similar uniforms.
Right. Sure.
Very similar uniforms.
My wife's friend got the joke. My wife did not. She goes, I don't know. Is Scotland in red? I'm like, they're the ones with the red hair, honey. They're the pale white dudes with red hair. And the Haitian team is the one that look like they're all from Haiti.
That's why Marcy's superior to you is that she doesn't see color.
She only shades of gray.
Exactly.
There's no black and white in her world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's the 311 love from her, growing up in Nebraska.
Oh,
Omaha.
yeah. You almost have to like it,
yeah.
especially for the patois that they've all adopted. I'll tell you this, is that I just look forward to seeing more Scottish people because they've taken over the whole kit and caboodle. No pun intended with the kid. They've taken over just watch the news. They've taken it over. Everywhere it's Scottish mania. You can't even leave your house.
Bagpipes and marches and singing ABBA for some reason.
We have 75 people from Scotland on hold right now. They're just Scottish people everywhere.
Get them on next.
There's Scottish people sleeping in my lawn. It was just Scottish fever. Ugh.
The whole town reeks of haggis.
I was with my friend this weekend, and they were like, it was driving them crazy. These are all people from Scotland, and not someone who right before the World Cup went, hey, I'm a quarter Scottish.
Well, they said
I'm gonna run
that
around
too. They're
Scotland. I'm from Scotland.
One of the watch parties outside of the stadium full of fans of Scotland. These people traveled here and they didn't even have tickets for the game. I said, no. Those people didn't travel here. Anyone who traveled here got tickets for the game. They're at the game. These people are all just fans of Scotland.
Or just did a genealogy thing where they found out there was a little part of them that is Scottish.
Was Nick there?
I don't.
It's a good question.
He's just Ireland with that name Gemelli, falsely named Gemelli, obviously a child of adoption. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey. Sox on 11 hits in 4 2/3 innings, and that includes a pair of homers given up in his first 2 innings of work.
I mean, the home run ball, obviously. First one, guy jumped him on the first pitch. You know, sometimes guys get in there and get a pitch hit, but the Higashioka one hurt, obviously.
Sox do take 2 or 3 from Texas. They move to within 11 games of 500. They face Toronto at Fenway Park tomorrow night. In hockey news, Carolina won their second ever Stanley Cup last night by beating Las Vegas 3-0 in Game 6. Jordan Staal didn't score in this game, but he did so in the first 5 games of the series. He was voted the Conn Smythe Trophy winner for being the playoff MVP. Now that the Knicks have won the NBA championship, we're on to the basketball offseason. The draft is next week. The online rumors over the weekend have Miami as the leader at the moment for a potential Giannis Antetokounmpo trade, but they also have Brad Stevens and the Celtics hopping into the race. And at the World Cup last night, Sweden beat Tunisia 5-1. Ivory Coast beat Ecuador 1-0. Earlier in the day, the Netherlands and Japan played to a 2-2 draw, and Germany blew out Curacao 7-1. After a big win Friday night, the U.S. plays Australia next this coming Friday afternoon in Seattle. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Blue Sky Restoration Contractors. As it gets more humid, thunderstorms are a major risk to property damage, so have our guys at Blue Sky on speed dial all summer long. Visit goblusky.com, restoring your property and your life for a brighter tomorrow. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Diving effort. And he's got a breakaway. Goes to the backhand. Throws it in front. Coming to the slot.
The Sports Hub.
Ticket not punched.
Hardy.
The ticket's not
Fred.
You got a bunch of stuff wrong when you talk. So much for this country.
Toucher and
I
Hardy.
guess this country's a bunch of buffoons that don't know the rules.
You idiot. The Sports Hub.
The Kiss decided to put out, when they had all 4 original members back in the 70s, they decided to put out 4 solo albums. And much to the consternation of Gene and Paul, Ace's album did the best, and by quite some bit. Now, I defy you to listen to Peter Criss's album because it's almost exclusively doo-wop. It's like...
Oh, I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's all like 50s sounding. And Gene does a version of When You Wish, or not When You Wish Upon a Star. I think it might be When You Wish Upon a Star with Cher, but it's supposed to be ironic because he's evil.
Oh.
But Gene's album didn't do anything. Paul's album didn't do anything. But that song, Back in the New York Groove, cover song that Ace did, was the only even minor hit. In fact, I guess those Kiss solo albums shipped tons and then had to be returned to the record label because none of them, except for Ace's, sold anything. So a bit of a miscalculation as the band all released those at the same time. That's asking your fans a lot, especially when your fans are probably 12 and under. Asking them to, go out and buy 4 albums at the same time. That's a lot. But nonetheless, that's being played, I am sure, because the Knicks, of course, are NBA champions. And as we discussed earlier in the show, I watched the second half. I was out, but then I watched the second half of the game. And after watching, the whole series, I just was like, good, just San Antonio lose already. Look, I have nothing against the Knicks as a franchise. I mean, James Dolan doesn't seem like the greatest guy in the world, but it's not his fault. The Knicks players are likable. A lot of them weren't supposed to be, most of them weren't supposed to be, in fact, 99% of them probably were not supposed to be stars. But here we are, especially Brunson was not supposed to be a star at all. And he's now one of the biggest stars in the league. He's, on the list of all-time great Knicks. So they got that going for them, and San Antonio just choked away everything so that it was just like, end it. They don't deserve this. Just let the Knicks win. And let them win on a Saturday, and Hardy had discussed it. You win on a Saturday, take some of the shine off on Monday, and then, people of, national news is focusing a lot on the World Cup. The Stanley Cup final, I guess has like a blip that people will consider talking about it. But what do you do when you're on the radio in New York City?
Yes.
And you cannot do play-by-play of the game. You're not carrying play-by-play of the Knicks game. Well, that was the situation at WFAN in New York, as they had guys live on the air doing a talk show, as this was going on. You'll remember the famous Jim Murray, which might have gotten him a job back here at the station when Jim Murray was doing nights in Atlanta in 2011 during the Stanley Cup, during the Toronto
first
series with
comeback,
right, the big comeback in Game 7 that the Bruins had against Toronto. You remember him? He was talking about it live on the air and very excited. Here is WFAN on Saturday night.
Anthony Gallo and Positive Tommy. These guys are overnight weekend hosts in WFAN.
All right. Here's how they handled it.
Knicks up 2, minute 50. This is life.
And now you get.
It is. It is life. And that's Positive Tony, I'm sure.
Tommy.
Yeah, Positive Tony. He's out there. He's like Tony Soprano, except super positive.
Knicks up 2, minute 50. This is life.
And now you get an open look for Hart. Let's bury this.
Oh, come on, Mitch.
That wasn't play-by-play, by the way.
That wasn't. Just cheering. I'm just cheering. Just two guys loving on their Knicks.
But I will tell you this.
Living on their what?
Living on their Knicks.
Loving on their Knicks.
It's opposed to me who lives on his wits.
Yeah.
And good for them not doing play-by-play, because I'm sure that the show on Saturday night at 11 o'clock was really going to get the wrath. I mean, that's multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
I thought the Fan was the flagship for the Knicks. They're not.
No, they're the Nets.
Oh,
Interesting.
Okay.
Yes, they have the Nets. If I'm not mistaken, yes, they do have the Nets.
All right.
Come on.
26 seconds away.
Man,
Okay.
Wemby, man. I hope you go home and cry over a baguette.
Because he's French.
This is life.
He's insulting the man. A, because he's French. And B, those sissy Frenchmen with their baguettes.
All right.
Come on.
26 seconds away.
It's angering me.
I see that happening.
All right, we won't do play-by-play here, but we're going to kind of give you a feel for...
Oh,
Mitch!
not play-by-play, but offensive rebound.
They're going to win in 5.
It's unreal. OG,
5.
I love you. I love you. I love all of you. I love every single one of you on this team.
20 seconds.
This is incredible.
Here we
I can't
go.
believe this.
I feel like Tony Romo. Here we go, Jim! Here we go! Where else would you rather be, Gallo?
Nowhere.
No, listening to the game. Not listening to you two have to half-ass do play-by-play.
There is something to be said for doing a show and being this into it, and credit to them when you know, or should know, nobody's listening to you.
Yeah, like 0 people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, too, about being concerned about doing play-by-play is that, again, you are broadcasting. I know you're in New York City, number one market arguably in the world, but you are broadcasting to the ether.
Yeah.
Like, even if the Knicks radio call is probably got, as Knicks radio calls go, very, very few people listening. I mean, they're watching it on television.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday night. So, let alone these guys. I mean, if I was them, I wouldn't feel any constraint at all. You could be swearing, doing whatever the hell you want.
We worked our
Absolutely
entire
nowhere.
lives for this moment.
Oh, you've been waiting your entire lives for this moment. Well, that's sad.
WFAN. Here we go. Come on.
Get the call letters in.
Yeah, and let people know that this is WFAN because the station's gonna carry this over their heads.
What time did that game go final? Did they have to get the legal ID at the top of the hour?
Well, it was safe harbor technically because it was after 10 o'clock, so they could have been saying whatever they wanted at that point. I mean, they could have gotten real risky with religion and racial talk.
Can't do play-by-play.
20 seconds. Don't.
All right. We
dude.
get that. Yeah.
We get it. Maybe stop saying it.
Can't do play-by-play.
20 seconds. Don't play by play.
But we just got to react. That's
No,
all.
no
We're allowed to have
play-by-play.
guttural reactions. That's cool.
I knew it. He was going to not play
Get
by
out.
play.
Knicks up 2, 8.5 seconds to go. Gallo and I, obviously, diehard Knick fans.
Yes.
We've been waiting our entire
Our
lives. for
entire
this.
lives.
They've only been alive, so they're in their 20s.
No.
Oh, no.
No, 73 was their last
Oh, that's
one.
right. I thought, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So they have been waiting their entire life.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, okay. As would have I if I was a Knicks fan. I would have been waiting my entire life. My bad.
Deep breaths.
Come on. Hit it. Come on, baby.
Well, that was
Come on.
That was close to play-by-play.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on.
I can't pop the champagne in here.
Come on!
Let's go! Come on!
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Yes, please leave. Go. Never come back.
Waited their whole lives for this, Fred.
Yeah.
Championship.
And what a night to be on the radio. The night that the local team, the only basketball team that anyone in that town cares about, the night that they win the championship for the first time in a lot of our lifetimes. Not too many people. John, not your lifetime.
No, I was alive the last time.
You were very much alive.
Yes.
And John was.
He was there.
Well, no, he couldn't get in, but I mean, John, he was out. But that was back when Times Square was Times Square. That was back when John was at a peep show at the time.
Yeah.
He had to be told that they had won the championship.
Yeah, we went to the talkies first and then walked up the street.
Well, you listen. I don't know if they were talking in the pornography that you put a nickel into to watch, but nonetheless,
With a big crank.
no,
crank
that's
handle.
a Nickelodeon.
No,
Again, you don't
sorry.
even know the pornography.
I'm sorry, my fault.
Oh, where's the camera? Let's go! Let's go!
The Knicks are the 2026 NBA champions.
And you should see the difference between what the women look now in the pornography than what they were looking like when John was watching pornography during the first NBA championship. Much more natural.
Which informs, I think, a lot of his proclivities now. It was imprinted on him at an early age. The ample rear ends.
I think it's a little different now.
Yeah, I think
it's a little different. I mean, women were bigger, but in a casual sense, not a like, all right, I'm going to focus on doing this sense.
Yeah, in terms of just ass. Like John would, I mean, it was real hard for me to go peep show to peep show to peep show to just finally find someone fat enough for his taste. It wasn't easy for him. And that's how he got his exercise back then. It's just going peep show. Is Sandy working? No. Ugh. And you have to walk to the next peep show.
Let's go, baby!
Oh my God!
John used to mop up the peep shows. Right before he got the EEI job, he had to mop up peep shows.
What age were you when you started thinking about the suffocation aspect of your fetish?
Oh, that came later.
What age?
Oh man, I was beyond college. It was
30s?
Yeah, late 20s, early 30s.
But it never.
Deep breaths.
Not anything.
It was good.
Not anything like even remotely like that. Like just like kind of another way.
No.
You didn't even like butts until your late 30s.
No, not really. And I can't explain where the transition happened there. I don't know why.
I think because when society changed, you just changed.
You think I just floated along with everybody else?
Yep.
Seems that way.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Let's go, baby! Let's go, baby!
Oh my God!
Let's go! Come on!
That's unreal!
Yes! Yes!
And then I wonder.
Sounds like Zolak and Bertrand picking up a couple of free agent tight ends.
Yeah.
That level of excitement.
I mean, everyone's certainly in Boston has rooted for a team that's won titles, and when it's been a long time since the team, or the first time ever that a team's won a title in like your lifetime, there is that great exhilaration, and then there's that moment about right now in their celebration where you realize, well, that's it.
Yeah, that's over now.
Yeah, like, well, that's it. Like, now I don't
That's
get
what I was
anything.
waiting my whole life for, and it was great for 11 seconds.
Yeah.
It was long. In 04, I can tell you, in 04, it was different. In 04, it was, I'd say, a week, 2 weeks before we all here had that kind of, okay, what's next?
No, I'm not talking about being excited about it. I'm talking about that like elation. Because I remember when the Cardinals won in 06 when I was here. It was the first year I was here, I believe they won. They won in 06, I believe, the fall of 06. And I went out to Cask and Flagon and watched it with my wife at the time. And they won, and I was very, very excited because they hadn't won since 82, and I didn't remember them winning in 82. So they won, and I was like really excited. And then when we were walking home, I realized, oh, this doesn't affect me at all.
Well, you were also heavily sedated. On your cacophony of cuckoo pills.
I wasn't on nearly the amount of cuckoo pills as I am now.
Oh, all right.
But there is that feeling like where the process of it is so much more enjoyable than the outcome. I think other people can relate to this. Like the process of like wanting them to win and then watching the game and then like, being on the edge of your seat and then they win and you go like, yes, yay, this is great. Like even 2011 Bruins, like, I knew that team fairly well as teams go, like in terms of personally. And, there's that moment where they win and you're very excited. And then you just kind of go like, well, that's it for me. Like the players are all celebrating and having fun. And you're like, well, I just got to go back to home.
I was listening to these guys and I was trying to figure out like what my level would be if the Lions won the Super Bowl. And both Anthony and Positive Tommy are younger than me, I'm sure. But I think in the moment it would be fantastic. Greatest sporting moment ever. How long does it really last?
Well, it's the game is the reward, right? Like,
yeah.
That game, like the Super Bowl for you would be the reward. And then there's that. If you're at the game, I think it lasts longer because you're amongst your people, like you're amongst other fans, and there's all that excitement. And then as you walk down the street, everyone's chanting and stuff. But if you're watching it on TV, I can just tell you from experience, there is that. Okay, like a little bit of like, well, this doesn't really affect my life at all. Right. Yeah. Like I had all that entertainment.
How does your life change as a result of this?
Right. Unless you're like one of those guys that like feels that you can now go around and brag as if you've accomplished something, which is, John's whole MO.
Specifically, after the Patriots won that first Super Bowl over the Rams, it was, I think I understand now exactly what you're saying. It was like a day and a half. And then I was done because I was called in to host overnights on EEI. I did the overnight show after the first.
And so you celebrated.
So we celebrated. It was Greg Dickerson and I for 5 hours, 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. overnight.
And you're taking calls. It's very exciting. You're almost a part of it.
And then you go home and you pass out and you wake up at like 4 in the afternoon the next day and you're like, okay.
Yeah, you're like, well, I didn't get anything.
When's the parade? I'll go to that. But yeah.
It's like I didn't get anything out of this. And the parade it can be really fun, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, I understand.
It's like enjoy it. I'm just wondering at what point during this celebration are they putting on airs is kind of what I'm getting at.
Sure.
Like where they kind of are realizing like, well, that's that now.
Yes!
Right about there.
Yes! Yes!
I can't believe it. Oh, I'm such a mush.
Come on!
This is unreal.
I'll have what she's having, by the way.
Yeah, that's
there it is.
That
moment, Fonzie has jumped the shark. He's landed.
He was deliberately panting, and then he put it into the old
When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally scene. That's when you know it's no longer organic.
Oh my God!
Let's go!
Oh my God!
New York City, the party starts.
Yeah, no one's listening to you, buddy. I get it. WFAN's a great station, but not during the Knicks finals when you don't have the game.
And it won't end. It won't end.
Oh my God!
See, now he's realizing it's ended, and it won't end. It won't end. Oh no, it's ended, and you're realizing it.
And it won't end. It won't end.
Oh my God! I should have got a joint. I should have got one.
We got some booze here, though.
We do.
I think upper management should allow us to drink in studio tonight. Come on!
Are they
the Knicks have
sponsored?
won the championship.
Oh my God! I can't.
We're boozing, baby.
Oh my God! I can't believe it.
Now he's searching for booze to, try to, he realizes the emotions and the dopamine from the win have now started going away, and now he's looking for something else to but you can tell they're
Take its place.
You can tell they're not so well established with the constant fretting over play-by-play, and then management should let us drink in here. How about management's nowhere to be found.
How about you say whatever you want, you do whatever you want,
Yeah.
and it'll be fine.
I'll
Yes,
bet you management's in
nothing-
San Antonio.
I don't think management's going to be like walking around peering in the windows to see if you're having a cocktail.
Bust open that bubble you got back there, though, Hanson.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to do this?
Can I pop that and spray it all over the
Do we have anything that we could put on the expensive equipment here?
Pop that and spray it all over the.
Well, the one guy calls him handsome, and then he goes, "Can I pop it and spray it all over you?" How about you pop it? How about you make it pop and then make it spray all over me? All right. Sean McAdam is going to join us. He has a article out about the Craig Breslow's future that doesn't look so bright, and we get to talk to him in just a moment.
Now, more of your best morning buddies, Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
I would be surprised if he went into the offseason as the chief baseball officer of this team. It's just hard to think that they would go into the offseason with the fan base in such an uproar with the same guy making the calls, given how this season seems headed.
Here on Mad Dog, he's the go-to guy Mad Dog goes to when a older rock star passes away. Sean is an expert.
Sean's seen a lot of concerts.
And beyond that, like, it's not even that Sean comes on the show. It's that immediately Mad Dog starts referencing Sean McAdam and to get him on the phone.
No.
Like when Robbie Robertson died, like he was like, get Sean on the phone. Get him on the phone. Hey, come on.
Sounds like him.
Give me my guy, Sean.
I want to talk to him.
I'm going to talk to him. Sean, that is the case, Sean McAdam. You're writing for Mass Live. That is that is what goes on, is it not? Your phone rings.
It is, Fred. I have become the dead rock star chronicler on with Chris on Sirius XM. That's my lot in life.
Well, listen, he loves you, and it's I mean, it's a great show, and he loves you. And I'll tell you this. I listened to the Graham Nash book, so now I feel like you and I have some common ground. Are you
all right?
Are you a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young guy or no?
I'm more of a Young guy, but yeah, I like some of the CSNY stuff. I'm a huge Neil Young fan.
See, I like Neil Young way better than I don't like Crosby, Stills and Nash. I do like Neil Young, but I'll tell you, those guys a lot more effed up than you would think they would be with the folk music. A lot more in their personal lives that went wrong.
Yeah, a lot of soap opera.
Yes, absolutely. And not afraid to say it, which I enjoyed. Well, Sean, listen, great job on this Craig Breslow situation, and you make a lot of interesting points beyond the fact that you obviously don't believe that he's going to be in this position next year. But let's talk a little bit about the thing I thought was the most interesting is, you would think that Craig Breslow, if they're going to get rid of him, they would want to do it before the deadline, but that doesn't necessarily need to happen. And can you kind of explain the machinations of that?
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox MO here, if you will, over the last, 10 years is when they move on from a lead baseball executive, they often do it in mid-September. That happened with Dave Dombrowski in 2019, and it happened with Chaim Bloom in 2023. So both those guys ran the show at the draft and at the trade deadline and were out the door about 6 weeks later or less than 2 months later. So for people saying, well, why would you keep the guy that you're probably going to move on from and allow him to navigate the deadline? My answer is good question, but they've done it twice before since 2019. So there is some precedent for it. I also think there's a limit to what you're going to affect in terms of change if you fire the general manager or, in this case, the chief baseball officer in the middle of the season. The product doesn't change, right? You change managers as they did at the end of April, getting rid of Alex Cora and 6 coaches. Well, now you have a new voice in the dugout. You have somebody new making out the lineup card. You have somebody making in-game decisions. There's more of an impact that a manager is going to have day to day. Right now, the roster is the roster, as Alex Cora was known to say on occasion, and the players are who they are. If Craig Breslow is replaced tomorrow, next week, next month, it's not like there's going to be some wholesale changes in the roster right away. And in all likelihood, because of the timing, you're going to have somebody interim and promote somebody from within to do that job. So for people screaming that it doesn't make sense, we can argue that all day. But the fact is that there's recent precedent to do it that way.
Okay, so there'll be guardrails on him in theory. There could be guardrails on him in that these are the guys you can trade. We want prospects, or we want you made a really good point that a few years ago there was an edict at the trade deadline, or there could be an edict that you can only trade our guys for major leaguers.
And
you give it like
return.
Alan Craig and I think Cespedes.
Right. Well, think of the big house cleaning they had The year where they sold off Gonzalez and Beckett and Crawford to the Dodgers to dump all that salary, or when you think about the trades they made in say 14, where they're trading Lester and Lackey, but they're getting back Joe Kelly, Alan Craig, guys like that. They weren't looking for prospects, and I wonder if they might do the same thing here. I think that would be disastrous. I think you should absolutely get good young prospects and start the business of overhauling the roster and climbing back into contention. But again, to read kind of the past as prologue here, I think ownership has always had this fear that if you're getting prospects in return, that sends the message that you're in for a long rebuild. And I don't think they want to do that. I think that affects ticket sales, obviously, for next year. It affects NESN ratings. So I wonder what sort of, as you mentioned, guardrails are going to be in place for Breslow come August 3rd.
Sean, in a larger sense, Craig Breslow is a problem, but I don't think he's the problem. I mean, if you fire him, who are you going to get to replace him with? It just seems like there aren't people knocking doors down to work for this ownership these days.
Well, there certainly wasn't, John, a few years ago when they ended up hiring Breslow. At Mass Live, we reported that they approached and reached out to anywhere from 6 to 8 to 9 candidates, all of whom said, no, thanks, we're good.
Yeah.
They weren't interested in even interviewing. A couple of other people pulled out of the process once they had agreed to interview. Look, people can see the history here. They can see that you get 3.5, a maximum of 4 years to turn things around, and if that doesn't happen, you're out the door. And increasingly, you're looking at a younger demographic of lead baseball executives, guys in their 30s, 40s. A lot of these guys have young families with kids. They don't want to uproot their wives and kids halfway across the country and know that as soon as they sit down at the desk, that the clock is ticking on them and they're only going to get 3.5 or 4 years. So people can see how often there's been a revolving door on that GM office in Boston. And I think they're going to have a difficult time attracting top tier candidates as happened last time. Breslow was a highly regarded sort of pitching guru in the Cubs organization, but he was no one's idea of it's only a matter of time before this guy's a president of baseball operations somewhere. A lot of those more high profile people told the Red Sox they weren't interested in talking to them.
In terms of the safeguards that would, be in place, that's not going to be any further hindrance for them looking for their next GM though, Sean, because I feel like that would be something that any ball club would do. They're not going to look at the way they treat Breslow for the rest of this season and say, wow, you wouldn't let him do anything. If he's on his way out, that just seems to be pretty standard protocol, right?
Yeah, I don't, Hardy, I don't think there's anything about what's happened or what's about to happen over the next couple of months. It's more the turnover.
Yeah.
And the feeling that, you have to get this done and get it done quickly, and they're impatient. And if you don't show progress right away, you're gone. Nobody likes to come into a new job and know that, you're expected to put a championship contender on the field in the first year or so, or else the clock is ticking for you.
Okay. One of the things that I find so interesting about this season is that, it's almost this organizational arrogance about the way that they do things being the correct way, that it's like, they at least when they talk, it's like infallible. Like, we have the data, like this is not human. This is not the place for human error. We have a system in place that can calculate things to the letter, and we have this all lined up, and it doesn't work. I mean, it just hasn't worked. You have to win baseball games. You have to produce offensively, and these things aren't happening. Do you think that ownership is invested in that way of doing business and will not move off of it? Or do you think a new GM could come in and change the way they kind of operate, in theory, like how they operate?
Well, look, analytics are here to stay.
Right.
I hear people call up and say they got to get rid of the nerds and the laptops and the pocket protectors and all that. Guess what? Every single one of 30 major league teams is hip deep in analytics because that's the way the industry is going. And you can talk about the Dodgers or you can talk about the Rays at opposite ends of the payroll spectrum. Everyone is using analytics and data, and that isn't going to change anytime soon. But the best organizations synthesize that data with some human element, whether it's input from in-person scouting, whether it's, soliciting opinion and evaluation from trusted evaluators. You can't all be 100% data. One of the ironies here is that if you recall, when they hired Breslow and people were making note of, a Yale guy in charge of baseball operations for the Red Sox. That hasn't happened often. Of course, Chaim Bloom was a Yale guy, so was Theo Epstein. But there was a knock that Chaim was too into the data and too committed to the analytics. And the word you got when you asked people about Breslow among Red Sox executives was, well, this guy was a player. He knows. He understands the value of communication, of personal relationships, of listening, all of that. And then, frankly, Breslow hasn't followed up on that. That he's been, look at the Devers situation, which could have been avoided had they communicated better ahead of time. So not only did they invest in this theory that, well, we found somebody who could blend the personal with the analytics, but that just hasn't happened.
And I'm not one of these people to say, you need analytics, and especially to shorten a pool of talent, you need some guidelines in place just so you can do that. But if I own a hedge fund, or if I'm investing in a hedge fund, which is entirely analytical, and I'm losing money, change the analytics that you're using. There's the data, the way that, I don't know if it's the data or the way that you are reading the data or analyzing the data. Somewhere along the line, you've made a mistake, and that has to be looked at.
Yeah, and look, the other thing is, how about starting to look at the hiring process and how people are evaluated when they are looking to bring on a new chief baseball executive, because obviously there are some flaws there when the last two or three have not worked out. So maybe it's time for a little introspection there too.
All right, Sean McAdam, great stuff. Read him in Mass Live, and next time a rock star dies, listen to him on Mad Dog, as he's the go-to guy. Thank you, Sean.
All right, guys, good talking to you.
All right, appreciate it.
Sean.
There you go, Sean McAdam. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headline.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. The United States apparently is sitting pretty because they got the 3 points in the standings in the big goal differential. So apparently they're good. Did you know? I heard this that I did not know. Everyone might know this. I might be the only one who didn't. But that the whole reason that the MLS started was so that the United States could get the World Cup in 1994. That you needed to have a professional league in your country in order to get the World Cup.
I did not know that.
Right. And then you hear these same guys that were talking about that saying, I haven't heard one person, and it's interesting because, they're all asked about it because the World Cup is every 4 years. You have people on radio shows that never talk about soccer, talking about soccer, and so they always bring up, will it become more popular? And everyone is just saying no. That's like what everyone's saying is they're like, no. Like you would have thought it in like 94. You would have thought that this was what was going to happen because remember, everyone was like locked in because they made that like elimination round. And, they had some names that you still remember, like Alexi Lawless, whatever. The Alexi guy. You had...
Lawless. No, you're right.
Yeah, you had, was Dempsey on that team? Like, I don't remember. But you had these... You had guys that at least at the time that you remembered, and that did not translate into anything.
If it happens, it's only going to happen organically. It's not going to happen because everyone says now is the time, and since we hosted the World Cup here on this continent, that it's going to happen now. And thankfully, after decades of this, those chorus of voices are going away. Like, I'm not hearing it so much now. It's like, now's when soccer takes over, and MLS is going to have a huge boon after this because the World Cup was here. I don't hear that. And I think people have finally realized, no, might eventually happen, but not because they want it to happen or it's supposed to happen or because the timeline lines up. It's only going to happen if people decide they're going to start watching specifically American soccer and MLS soccer and people start gravitating toward it away from something else.
You would think that soccer would reach the mainstream because they were, especially here, because I remember Diego Maradona, who was the guy, played here in Foxborough at the old Foxborough Stadium, and Argentina was here, and it didn't bump at all. It didn't change at all around here. There were kids playing soccer then, there are kids playing soccer now, but as far as the mainstream is concerned and the public consciousness, didn't make that jump.
And another thing that was supposed to happen is that with all that, a lot of kids do play soccer, and with, the injuries in football and less kids playing tackle football, the other fall sport that you think of is soccer, and that hasn't translated to anything either. I mean, that's been happening for a long time, and that was like the big messaging for years was that kids are playing now and more kids than ever are playing soccer and that less kids than ever are playing tackle football. And so that's just going to translate into more people caring about professional soccer. But that's not the case. But oftentimes weekend guys on national radio speak of how much they like the Premier League soccer and things like that and like how much they follow it. And at a certain point, I go, what else do you do? I heard one guy, I get up on Saturday mornings and I watch Premier League soccer. I'm like, all right, so you watch the NFL, NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball. Plus you watch college football, college basketball, and whatever else. And then on top of that, you throw in Saturday mornings that you're locked into something else.
Well, that's what it comes down to for me at the end.
And they watch golf and tennis and everything else. And now
you only have so much time. And I don't believe that people are watching all those things. And if you watch soccer on Saturday mornings, great. Don't tell me you're also watching college football later on that day and then you're spending all day watching the NFL on Sunday. You can't.
I just find it interesting that you could be...
Or most people can't. You've got a certain number of hours in your life that you devote to just you time in front of the TV, and people are not going to add in soccer in addition to the stuff that they already watch.
Well, there's that, which is very valid. And there's also just like how many things in sports can you care about deeply?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you got to really reevaluate your life. If you're able to like just adore 7 professional sports, that's a lot. Like a lot of time. Not just time spent watching TV, just what other interest could you possibly have? That's it. So much of just your brain is consumed with what professional athletes are doing in any way, shape, or form. Then you got to throw in the Olympics. They're probably super into. Like, that just means you're into everything that's going on. And then they probably would yell and scream about how great the WNBA. I mean, go on and on and on. It's like, everyone's got their hierarchy of sports. And if you really analyzed how much time you spent thinking, reading, and consuming leagues, that you probably got 2 or 3, right? Like 2 or 3 that you like, that willingly, like, you can't get enough of. You'll consume anything that you can read about it, like off-season stuff, all those things. It's you're asking quite a bit. Even to like be super into all 4 major sports, like, I mean, super into it, not just a team from those sports, but into like the league as a whole. Now, John is able to do this because he holds no other interests that are non-sexual. But I mean, like, Hardy, if I was to ask you, and this will be very quick because we have to break, but like, out of the all sports, like all sports leagues, college, pro, everything, like, how many of those leagues outside of work do you just on your own, based on your own interest, consume hours and hours and hours of either game or reading about it or off-season stuff? How many are there?
2.
There you go. What are they?
I consume lots of football
Yeah.
and lots of golf.
There you go. So I consume everything NFL, and then I watch the Cardinals pretty religiously. I watch Michigan State basketball religiously and read about Michigan State basketball. I don't read so much about the Cardinals. And then I watch the Bruins and read about the Bruins, and that's it.
Yeah, but in terms of like the actual sport, yeah, I'll watch Michigan State, but I'm not consuming huge amounts of college football and basketball.
No, I'm out on football, college football.
Yeah.
I got season tickets to BC.
Yeah.
I don't read one word about them, what's written about them. I just like going with my friends, I can walk there.
Yeah, and I'll watch the Bruins, but I'm not watching out of market hockey unless it has something to do like work related. Yeah. No, there are the 2 things that I find that I have time for personally, and that's the NFL and golf. That's it.
Well, there's also just like something you can't teach yourself, and that's like wanting to read about it, like wanting. Like when you open up your phone, or you back in the day, you opened up like seeking out information on it. Like, I'll read anything about the NFL. I'll read anything. I'll read anything about the Bruins. I'll read literally anything about the Jets. I watch most pieces of most Cardinal games, but I'm not like devouring things. And I read about Michigan State basketball recruiting, and I watch just about every Michigan State basketball game. And that's it. I can't pretend to go like I'm completely invested outside of my obligations for work in the NBA, just because I just can't care about that many things.
Well, you're going to have to start caring about soccer.
I know,
only for a few weeks.
And that's what's no.
What are you going to give up
forever?
What are you going to give up?
My children. Just anything that they're doing.
It's the Jets. It's time.
No, I can't do that. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. I've tried, but I can't. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Patriots, Bruins, the Celtics. WBCFM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group station celebrating 65 years of broadcasting. Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox got a pair of homers from Wilson Contreras last night, but couldn't quite climb out of an early 4-0 hole. They lost to Texas 6-4 at Fenway Park. Wyatt Langford homered on the first pitch of the game for the Rangers, and Kyle Higashioka added a 3-run shot in the second inning. The last place Sox have tonight off. They'll play Toronto at Fenway Park tomorrow night. In hockey news, Carolina won their second ever Stanley Cup last night. They beat Las Vegas 3-0 in Game 6. Rod Brindamore won with the Hurricanes as the team captain in 2006 and followed that up 20 years later by winning another one as the head coach.
Oh, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm so happy for these guys. You know, I wanted it as a player. I really wanted it, but I wanted it for these guys as a coach because it just means so much.
Jordan Stahl was voted the Conn Smythe Trophy winner for being the playoff MVP. The Knicks have won the NBA championship, so we're on to the NBA offseason. The draft is next week, and the online rumors over the weekend have Miami as the leader at the moment for a potential Giannis Antetokounmpo trade, but they also have Brad Stevens hopping into the race to potentially make a deal. And at the World Cup last night, Sweden beat Tunisia 5-1. Ivory Coast got a late goal to beat Ecuador 1-0. Earlier yesterday, the Netherlands and Japan played to a 2-2 draw. Germany beat Curacao 7-1. And after a big win Friday night, the U.S. plays Australia next this coming Friday in Seattle. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Homeworks Energy, serving homeowners across all of Massachusetts with trusted HVAC service, repairs, and replacements. Schedule your appointment at homeworksenergy.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Actually coaching the game, or it's just that is. I feel so strongly about that. I can't even tell you.
Boston Talk Sports here.
What do we got?
Sports Hub.
And now, back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High is what this song is associated with in my mind. Cameron Crowe, when he was 15 and out on the road with Led Zeppelin for Rolling Stone magazine, almost looks a little Rocky Dennis-like.
Ooh.
Yes.
I haven't seen the photos of that. Now, I recently read about Cameron Crowe when he was making the movie Singles, that the studio hated it, that the test audiences didn't like it. They had to reshoot stuff, and he was fighting with the studio all the time. And one of the major fights they had about the movie Singles was they wanted to change the name. And they gave him 3 different titles that they wanted to call the name, or they wanted to call the movie. One was Come As You Are, because Nirvana was big at the time. The other one was In the Midnight Hour, which has nothing to do with anything. And the one I think that studio was pushing for was Love in Seattle.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, good.
And Cameron Crowe wrote about it like in his diary or something at the time. And it had the emotion and the wording of like a 17th century sailor lost at sea. He was like, I fear this is all for naught. I cannot go on.
Okay, because I just read or listened to the guitarist from Mudhoney's book. And
of course you did.
Yes. And when Cameron Crowe made Singles, according to what that, and I guess Nevermind came out in September of 91 and Singles came out in 92, that when Cameron Crowe made Singles, and you have to remember if it came out in 92, he didn't shoot it in 92. It came out, that grunge scene like wasn't even like a big deal. Like he was like that he was there
kind of like
before
introducing the
that he didn't pick Seattle necessarily because of like the music scene that was going on there, that it was like kind of just set, the way that he made it sound was it was just kind of like set in Seattle. And the reason that song Citizen Dick had that song Touch Me I'm Dick is because of the Mudhoney song
Touch Me I'm Sick.
And that it wasn't like even a big deal. Like Cameron Crowe, like Eddie Vedder, remember he's in it, and Pearl Jam I guess weren't even big at the time at all. Maybe had that album even come out yet?
I don't think so. Soundgarden, by the time the movie came out, I think the album was out, but Soundgarden were bigger than them which is why you'll see, Chris Cornell in there and in the scene where he kind of saunters up after Matt Dillon, because he was kind of like the bigger star. And it's like, oh, Chris is on set, today. He can be in this scene.
Yeah. So I've seen Singles maybe as much as any other movie in the world, because that was my, do you want to come back to my room in college and hang out movie.
See, this speaks to our age difference once again, because for us it was Princess Bride. Want to go watch Princess Bride?
Oh, because that does have that romance to it. Yes.
Sure. But Fred, before all of this, there was
real quick. You had to like Bridget Fonda.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah. She had none of the things that you don't like.
Yeah. She got a little too in Jackie Brown. But
I don't even remember. I hated Jackie Brown so much. I don't even remember.
Singles era Bridget Fonda. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, in the 80s, there were a bunch of music videos that you pleasured yourself to, Fred. So we thought it would be an interesting exercise to revisit some of those videos and see, if you can not only name the vixen in said video, but also tell us what they ended up doing after that video was shot.
Tough bonus question.
Right,
for
this
you.
will be an exercise to see, what level of creep you really are.
Okay, so I have to know the name of the woman that was in the video because there's no doubt I pleasured myself to the video.
No, and that was pitched as part of this. I said no. The answer is yes every time.
I can just give you. I can throw that in just for fun, but I have to know what they did in terms of like their career after in music, film, or television?
Yes.
What if they won a Tony? Do I have to know that?
If they won the EGOT, even better.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
That's an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony.
Oh. So Doogie Howser is basically the only one who's done that.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
Lay up to get us started here.
That's Bobby Brown, whose book I listened to, and was with, of course, Tommy Lee, and then she was with a very young Leonardo DiCaprio, who she said had an enormous penis. And
who did she marry first in 1991?
Okay, so she was with Tommy Lee. She married, Jenny Lane.
Very
Nicely
good.
done.
Jenny Lane, not such a big penis. And then the big problem with Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray was not that he had a small penis, which he did. It was that he was following Tommy Lee, who he was aware of had a huge penis. So, but I'll tell you what, Tommy Lee, not nice to Bobby Brown. And she just, to this day, still is madly in love with him, despite the way that he treated her. But Bobby Brown, I have to imagine even you pleasured yourself to cherry pie.
I did not. Again, a few years older, I had access to actual pornography.
Yeah, but how much access? I mean, MTV is just on.
Yeah, but...
And you were in high school when Cherry Pie came out, because I must have been in middle school.
Yeah, but how much do you need? You get one magazine. I think I had two.
Well, I had two magazines. I had a Jugs and an Adult Video News, which doesn't really count, but there's two of them because Adult Video News, not a lot of pictures.
No.
More industry gossip.
But you know what page each one of them is on.
Oh, sure, and I know who was in it. But the thing is, and I know a lot about the adult industry in around 89 too, because I just got so bored I just ended up reading the articles about the industry and what was going on.
Fall of 89, though, is when I went to college. As a freshman. So it's like I'm past the point of pleasuring myself to music videos.
Yeah. I stopped when I was in college. We didn't have cable.
Yeah. All right. Bobby Brown also appeared on TV shows.
Yeah, she was on a reality show about rock wives and stuff. Yeah.
She got married with children?
Johnny Wallach coming
they all
in the
were.
game.
Okay.
Yeah.
They all did, yeah.
I think you could use that as kind of a blanket.
Fair enough.
A blanket thing is that they run because they had to bring out a girl to the shoe store for Al.
Sure.
To lust after in every episode.
Of course they did. Yeah.
And a fat chick.
Here's a layup for Wallach.
Courtney Cox.
Very good. Okay.
I never pleasured myself to that. Not once.
There's nothing very pleasurable about it. Though what is pleasurable is the scrapped video I saw for that song, which is essentially just Bruce Springsteen dancing in tight black pants, white wife beater, and thin black suspenders.
Ooh, boy.
And just like a one shot of him dancing and singing the song. And he wisely did not like the treatment and said, let's do something totally different.
I don't think either of them probably is overly proud of the video that did come out as well, though, because pulling her out of the crowd and then boogieing in the way they did screamed parents at a white wedding.
I like it. Now, Fred, can you name the vixen in this video?
Is that Aaron Everly? Is that like his real life wife?
You'll know her name.
But it's not Aaron Everly that he gets married to. I think it is, or is that Don't Cry? I'm getting him confused. Aaron Everly, who he was with and abused Axl Rose, and he blames the way that he saw his mother treated as the reason he's so abusive to women. Which, you got to forgive him now.
Yeah.
He's had problems as a kid. I wouldn't, I don't know November Rain that well. Is that the one where they get married? Because that is Aaron Everly that he gets married to in that video. So I'm sure there's other women in it.
Stephanie Seymour.
Okay.
Stephanie Seymour, and I'm guessing you didn't know what she went on.
And I never masturbated to that.
Okay.
If I can be...
Stephanie Seymour and Rose went through a messy breakup in 1993 after they began dating in 91.
Okay, maybe I'm getting him confused.
Yes, so she continued to model, and of course she was a global spokesmodel for Estee Lauder. All right. Moving on.
I mean, I masturbated to this. It's hot for teacher. The teacher, gets up and starts dancing, and all the young boys are conceivably having sex with her, and very excited that she's in that. Oh, I'm sorry. Aaron Everly was in Sweet Child of Mine. I apologize. I don't have any clue who this woman is or what she did after.
Lillian Muller. She got a spot at the London Academy of Modeling. She was in Playboy for the first time in 1974.
Yeah.
Appeared in the Hot for Teacher video. By the way, if you go down the rabbit holes of drummers on Instagram, you're familiar with Drumeo. You've seen these, Fred?
Oh, yeah, I've seen this. You go ahead. I know what you're talking about.
So the guy from Drumeo, I didn't even know he was a drummer. I thought he was just like an engineer dude. The dude is unbelievable,
Right.
and he figured out how to play Hot for Teacher on the drums.
Okay.
Like, it is a deep, deep, deep dive, and when he does it, you're watching it saying, holy crap, that's an actual drum part that Alex Van Halen played, and this guy replicates it perfectly.
Okay, so what Hardy's talking about, and you'll have to excuse us for going down this rabbit hole, but it's the summer, and it is interesting in my mind, too. I've seen the preview of the Drumeo video. The beginning of the Hot for Teacher is it's drums. But forever, people have been saying there's no way Alex Van Halen did it, that it's a muscle car engine, that it's
the exhaust of a Maserati.
Yeah, like that or that he like layered drums upon drums upon drums. So there's Drumeo videos, which I suggest even if you don't like music watching, because they're pretty interesting. Yeah, I didn't see the video, but I saw the preview for it. He can play and shows how to play it. And what's interesting, just real quick, is that it starts with a bunch of drummers, famous drummers that everyone's heard of, going like no idea how he did it. Like these like excellent professional longtime drummers are just like, I don't know how he did it. So this kind of is like almost unveiling how a magic trick's done.
And what's crazy about it is they actually do the chart for it and they write out the notes. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can read music, especially like, drum music. I don't know how you like look at that chart and play it.
Yeah.
But they did the exercise. So there we go. All right, next one, Fred.
No, it's
I'm gonna
Alicia
give you half,
Silverstone.
Fred.
There you go.
I'm going to give you half. It is Alicia Silverstone in the video for Crying.
Yeah, I don't know if I masturbated to that.
Yeah, this is 93.
Yeah, I might have been
that's-
over it by that point.
Okay.
I probably did, but it's not when I taped and went back to over and over again.
We all know what Alicia Silverstone did afterward. What about this one?
Okay, I definitely masturbated to this. Especially the short-haired brunette that's in the video. There's a lot of strippers in this video. I don't know any of their names. But I can tell you the one that struck my fancy the most. She's a short-haired brunette.
Okay, well, the girl that they do the deep dive on is Charisse Ruddle. And apparently she met Vince Neil. They started dating. She appeared in the video for Girls, Girls, Girls. They married in 1988. And of course, if you read the dirt, you'll find about the tragedy that fell on the family and everything else. But she was also on the TV show Ex-Wives of Rock, which aired for 3 seasons.
Yeah, that had Duff's wife on it. There was. I've seen that.
Okay, I'm going to skip this one.
Good. I'm not positive I masturbated to that either. I think the song was so bad it was impossible.
Here's an interesting one. Now, I don't expect you would have masturbated to this one because of when it came out, but it's interesting.
Janine
Lodemiller.
Yes.
Who ended up,
That's right. I actually knew that one, too. I knew that one. Instantly, I knew that one.
She only did Girl, Girl for so long, and then
Yeah.
she went and changed that when she needed to. And she was married to the car guy, Jesse James. She was married to him, and that became a whole thing.
Before Sandra Bullock?
Either before or after, but maybe before. And they had kids together. I guess he's had quite a bit of... Or he cheated on Sandra Bullock with her. Either way. But he's just been recently interviewed.
Yeah,
he's a little guy, too.
Yeah, she's on the cover of the Enema of the State album. So there we go.
She's a big Vivid girl. She used to... Her and Jill Kelly used to have a little... A little act they took on the road.
Now, I'm very impressed with both of you for pulling Janine Lindenmulder's name. I will be shocked if you get this one because it's not a typical video vixen, but it's a woman you recognize, you know who it is, but who is she?
Yeah, it's in the girl. I never masturbated to this either. I don't think
it's cartoons.
I don't get in on black and white sketch cartoons.
This was dancer Bunty Bailey.
Of course.
Now, she didn't really dance in this one, but she, of course,
She could move the runners over.
Began dating the singer of Aha, whose name is
nobody anonymous.
Morton Harkett. After they met on the set, she was featured in clips of other bands from Billy Idol to AC/DC, and she's also in the opening credits of the 1985 James Bond movie, A View to a Kill.
So she dated the guy from Aha?
Aha.
All right, so that happens, boy, to be in a band and cast that. Like Joe Perry's wife is someone that he met casting a video in Boston. I think for the Joe Perry project.
Wow.
Because what happens is they just cattle call all these models in, and you kind of find the one that you want to bang the most, and then you have them come to the set, and they're young and single, and they're out there they're performing for you like you're the king of it. I mean, obviously they're going to be attracted to you just by nature of that. Janie Lane, by the way, at one point a line cook in Cleveland.
Oh.
After the fall of Warren.
Let's do one more. Again, I'll be very impressed if you get this.
I don't even remember I didn't even know they had a video for this. I honestly didn't know Poison had a video for this.
That would be Susie Hatton, who met Poison frontman Bret Michaels while partying on the Sunset Strip. They dated for a couple of years. Okay. Also helped her get a record deal. And he produced her first and only album, Body and Soul.
Of course, that was nice of him.
Left the music industry and founded a organic sunless tanning product line.
Well, I know Talk Dirty to Me had a video that Every Rose had a video, and Unskinny Bop with the coolest of all of them. Because they're dancing next to computer-generated animation images of women, and you can tell that it was very comfortable for them to shoot because they've been told to stand in one place. The Bret Michaels just stand in one place and barely move, so we can synchronize this.
And it's such a good rock song with great rock lyrics.
Well, it's about banging a fat chick.
Skinny bop 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 bop. All night and day.
Yeah, it's about banging a fat woman.
All I got to say.
Unskinny Bop, nothing more to say. Skiddly diddly dilly, what's got you so jumpy? Why can't you sit still? Yeah. All right. Well, listen. It's amazing to me that you found so many videos that I did not masturbate to, and some that I didn't even know that existed.
That's the upset.
That's the upset of the whole thing. All right. The Knicks have won. Their fans went nuts and got very violent. We will get into it in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy next on the.
app was created, that was that this came out of that, which is not good. Not good. Not good at all. All right. The New York Knicks have won the NBA championship. They won on Saturday night, which is nice because at least it doesn't. Hardy mentioned this. It doesn't get us through a whole, Monday of having to deal with everyone going crazy about it. Look, the fans certainly were annoying. Obviously, you saw all the bandwagon jumping that came on. There is talk of the popularity of the Knicks in New York and how it compares to other franchises. But again, if you look at the regular season ratings of a Knick game up against either of the NFL teams in New York or either of the baseball teams in New York, they're dwarfed by either of those. So it's ludicrous that, and I heard some guy this morning going, well, because you saw the celebration, they don't get that for the Giants and they don't get that for the Yankees. And it's like, yeah, you're right. The Knicks are way more popular than the Yankees. You've got it right, of course. There's no doubt about it. You've hit the nail on the head. The city cares far, far more about the Knicks than they do about the Yankees. And I would tell you that they don't care more about the Knicks than they do about the Mets, or Giants, or Jets too. Just because there wasn't, riots in the street when the Giants win the Super Bowl. I would tell you that the eyes that were on that are far greater than are on anything that the Knicks do. But nonetheless, the Knicks are very popular. They're a hard team to dislike. Again, Brunson's a second-round pick. Hart was a late first-round pick. Like the guys that contributed, Mitchell Robinson was a second-round pick. Outside of Karl Anthony Towns and I forget who else, but two guys were like lottery picks. And outside of that, it's pretty much guys who've had to grind for their whole careers. You had that whole Villanova situation, which is interesting, all of that. So good. It was hard to, and like I was telling you guys, at a certain point in Game 5, I'm just like, good. Just get San Antonio out of here. It's enough already with them. The way they played down the stretch, and John has made this point as have others, San Antonio had a double-digit lead in all those games. They have, of course, had the historic collapse in Game 4 where all they had to do was hold the ball for just starting with like 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Just let the clock run. You're up by so much. They can score. They can score. If you can make it take them 12 seconds for them to score, that's fine. But just 12 seconds for them to score, and then you taking 22 seconds to get a shot off, make it or not, that's time running off the clock. And just by nature of the passage of time, you're probably winning that game.
I wonder how much of it, in analysis and afterward, when they're looking at it and they're talking, between the coaching and the players and all that stuff, how much of it was the players not being ready, not being seasoned enough to understand the moment and the situation, the clock. How much of it was coaching and not instilling upon them the importance of things like, I don't know, the clock in a game in which you're leading by double digits again, as they were in every single game, and how important it was to not do foolish things like chuck up threes the second you get across the half court. Like it's got to be the blame is going to be spread around a little bit.
70 on the players, 30 on the coaching. Okay, is how I'd put it.
I don't put anything in Game 5 on coaching. What I would give in Game 4 with coaching is that he didn't call timeouts, because this guy, they beat Oklahoma City in a Game 7 in Oklahoma City. This guy's an NBA coach who's going to be around for a while. Again, sometimes I think as fans, and I just see it from people reacting to things that I know about. I don't know, like radio and how everyone is such an expert. This guy, there's no way that the coach of the Spurs went, fellas, we're up by 30. Really just start chucking them up real early in the shot clock. There's no way that was like coached into him, or he never said, no, they panicked.
Right.
Now, he didn't call timeouts
That's where the 30 would come in.
The flow.
Yes.
And I guess in defense of the coaches, maybe you think, well, the last thing I have to tell them here is don't take a boneheaded three-pointer when we're trying to kill clock here. Like, that should just go without saying.
Or maybe he's thinking, I don't even want to stop the game because I just want I want clock to run and we're up by so much. Just let things. Like, maybe the Knicks will get fatigued. I don't know. There's a lot of things he could have thought about.
Mitch Johnson, obviously one of the better young coaches in the league, but he did not do these things we're talking about in Game 4. And Game 5 was not his fault. Game 5, they weren't chucking up threes. All those young kids just missed shots in the fourth quarter. Yeah. That's not on him. He actually got through to them because when we're in that situation, don't come down and take threes. And they didn't do that down the stretch in the fourth quarter in Game 5. That was a choke job by the players and the players only.
But it all results in a huge celebration, not just for the people in New York, but for the people flying back to New York. And you want to talk about fun. It's not all about business when you get on with the air traffic controllers, Fred. If you're flying a plane, you can have some good-natured back and forth with these people.
8938 flying over the Verrazano Bridge, up the Hudson, the statue, and all the good stuff in New York.
Copy that. Over the Verrazano, continue up the Hudson, Delta 8938. Thanks.
Please let the guys know New York Tracon, LaGuardia Tower, Kennedy Tower, maybe even Newark Tower, Westchester Tower. We're all on about 3 to 4 hours of sleep, but as happy as we could ever be. Congrats.
Yeah, for sure. They finally settled down about 30 minutes ago, but before that, there was a pretty excited bunch back there.
I believe it. We're all excited here. We're on our second box of coffee already this morning. Go New York.
There you go. The guy flying the team back.
That's not my concern. My concern is the air traffic controller, all talking about how they're needing coffee due to their 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And by the way, been some issues at Newark Airport with planes crashing into stuff.
That's only in the morning. This was at night.
Yeah. The notion of, hey, guess what? There's been a tragic accident in Newark, enough so that Saturday Night Live even did a whole skit with Scarlett Johansson, a pre-recorded skit about it, about the panic of flying into Newark Airport. Yeah, not wild about. And also, look, I get it. Like, I'm sure the pilots and air traffic controllers are having conversations and stuff like that. That doesn't concern me. Just if I'm the air traffic controller, I'm not wild that got out. We're all just like so tuckered out from partying that our minds aren't really on what's going on in the sky.
Fred, I think a lot of this begs a larger question. What's going on in New York? We had the guys who were on WFAN that were so consumed about not doing play-by-play.
Not play-by-play, but offensive rebound.
Yeah, okay, all right. So they were all concerned about that and worried about getting in trouble for drinking in the studio.
I think upper management should allow us to drink in studio tonight. Come on!
All right, so how about the other media people in New York that got really, really upset when somebody swore on television? Oh, my goodness.
We did that! Let's get it! Let's get it! Let's get one!
No, sorry.
Well, this was the best team in the world! Oh, my God.
All right. This is the danger of live TV.
You can't control live television. Isn't that the way?
Back to you guys while we get this under control.
All right. Well, we apologize for that, but, there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, and, unfortunately, it is one of those nights where people are just kind of forgetting how to, hold some decorum.
Yeah, okay.
Who cares?
All right.
Who cares?
Yeah. Is that New York television?
New York.
New York.
It's like, who's under, I guess because it's a Saturday night and everyone's not generally on TV or on the radio. The thing is that, what do you think's going to happen to you? You're in a wild crowd. Wait, what do you what do you think the government's going to do to you? That someone swore that, oh no, all your careers are over. You were in a mob of people and someone swore. Oh no.
You get to stop that. Stop that.
And way to handle it too. Like, really way to pay attention to it and act like a bomb just dropped.
Lean into it and make it sound worse. Wait, what happened?
And in
Let me
fair,
back it up.
like, and if I'm in New York and I just turn it on, say I miss the swear and I just turn it on, I'm thinking, what the hell just happened? Like, did someone just get decapitated? Did a bomb just go off? Like, what the hell just happened?
That was from WCBS TV,
geez.
CBS 2 in New York.
Wow. All
and
right.
obviously, this is the largest media market in the world. You would think that these are the finest professionals that are available. This is the top of the mountain in television. And you're that concerned? Lady, again, if I can just bring it back, if you want to see something, go watch the Detroit local news after the Tigers won the 1984 World Series. It's all there on YouTube. They had him on a cherry picker because the news was smart enough. They said, you cannot be on the ground. You will die. Like, quite literally, you might die. So they put him on a cherry picker, and what people decided to do was throw beer bottles by the hundreds at the guy. And it's all there on YouTube. You can see it for yourself. And you know what? Things happen in the crowd. If I was on TV and they go out and deal with these animals that are running around on the streets after a victory, a team wins, and they start swearing, my expression doesn't change in the least. Your fault, Gary, for putting me out here. You want me in a mob of like crazed fans? And you want, hey, everyone, settle down.
No, you
Enough
start
with the swears.
playing a hall monitor with these animals.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, this is the time where people forget. Yes, mobs of people, they go so far as swearing. Go check out what happened at English soccer matches in the 80s. Mobs, they did big scientific studies on how people could behave that way, and it's all that mob mentality. You know, people die, massive amounts of death in big mobs of people. They swore.
What did they think was going to happen? Let's put the cameras out in the street in the middle of this.
Knicks and 5, we got this! Woo-hoo! Love the Knicks!
We've been waiting for this our whole life. My whole life I've been waiting for this. Knicks in 5.
Let's go Knicks, baby!
Yeah.
Let's
just get that one guy.
What we doing? Come here. Listen.
I'm listening.
Jalen Brunson got everybody outside sweating. I gotta go to work at 7:45. Victor Wembanyama better go home and tell his mother he's sorry. Are you crazy? We was down by 29. Now look at us. We won and we took it. You ain't going crazy.
All right. Well, was that me?
No, those were the FAN guys.
Oh, you thought that was the Ambien Fred?
Bubble you got back there, though, Hanson.
Yeah.
No, not Ambien. Maybe. Oh, yeah, it could have been Ambien Fred, or it also could have been when I was saying "big guy touch me."
Oh, okay.
From that one drinking game.
Right.
All right. Well, look, I hope that the government isn't too harsh on the New York City news for having the
fleeting expletives
from a mob of people. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headline.
Wilson Contreras was 3 for 4 with 2 homers, but he didn't get a lot of help. And the Red Sox lost to Texas last night, 6-4 at Fenway Park. Sox do take 2 of 3 from the Rangers.
Night at the Xfinity Center. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. They had a album cover that showed female pubic hair coming out of an American flag bikini.
I remember that.
And I think that had to be pulled at one point.
Do you remember the Police Synchronicity album with the three,
Yes.
And there were different versions of that cover, too, and one of them had a bare-chested woman on it.
I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You had to really look for it at your local Strawberries or Harmony House or Tower Records. But if you dug through the bins, you could find that version of it and look at it for a second.
I listened to Synchronicity not so long ago.
Oh, the whole album?
Well, not Mother, but everything except for Mother I listened to.
The phone is ringing. Is that my mother on the phone?
They let Andy Summers write a song, and it was not good.
We're short one track, Andy. Have at it.
Yeah, because it's a good album, you know. And I don't really listen.
What about
every...
Murder by Numbers?
I don't mind that song.
Ugh.
Tea in the Sahara. That good? Yeah.
I can't listen to Every Breath You Take anymore because it's just in everything.
Well, they totally
and
ripped it
everything.
off from Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
Well, Puff Daddy wrote the music for that to eulogize his friend Biggie, and then the police stole it and turned it into Every Breath You Take.
Sure.
Yeah, and then he bought all that baby oil with it, Sting. With his tantric sex and everything else.
Making the rest of us look bad.
Sting is now working with Shaggy.
Oh.
Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, Shaggy 2 Dope from ICP. No, he's working with the Jamaican songster Shaggy, the two of them. And like a lot of things Sting has done.
No, it's actually it's a mashup. Do you believe in everything she does is magic? And that way they combine the two. Do you believe in magic and miracles?
Yes.
Magnets, how do they work?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's not good. And as you would assume that basically based on, and somewhere, Ryan, there is Sting when he came out with his whimsical, like almost like pixie dust Irish music or Scottish music
pan
or whatever.
flute. Yes.
Yeah, where he was like rocking like basically playing the fish.
Solo
Is that
album,
if I ever lose my faith in you? That might be the greatest. That would be the greatest Police song.
No, that was If You Love Someone, Set Them Free, that album.
Free, set them free.
Yeah, I'm not wild about that song, but If I Ever Lose My Faith in You is just like an incredible hook.
I believe the 10 Summoners' Tales. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
10 Summoners' Tales.
But
Fields of Gold.
Doesn't he do the key change in the middle of that song, Fred, which is a big no-no?
I don't know enough about music, but I can tell you this, is that speaking of like medieval things, I went to a movie and they were showing the preview for a star-studded Chris Nolan movie, The Odyssey, which I am really interested to see what people are willing to sit through with if it's got stars and a big director.
I told you my kid wants to go see the new Steven Spielberg, which you said don't have to. But even my kids who are all about going to the movies and want to see the movie can't get them interested. Not that I want them to be, but we see the previews for it.
Yeah,
That looks like a lot.
Well, is it based on The Odyssey, like the book The Odyssey?
Homer's Odyssey?
Yes, I
don't
believe
know.
it is.
Which, if you've ever been in an English class where you were forced to read that, is a real kick in the balls. Beowulf and that, oof.
Fortress Around Your Heart on Dream of the Blue Turtles. That's a good song.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Just say yes.
Yes.
It's a good song.
It's a good song.
Thank
it's
you.
just, it's no this.
Mama, man of means by no means, king of the road, thought boxcar, midnight train.
As someone sent me a video of
Destination Bangor to Maine.
a bar in Boston where a bunch of quote unquote Scottish people from quote unquote Scotland were singing 500 miles, and I went, not one of those people is currently a resident of Scotland. That sounds like something that a bunch of people all of a sudden very hyped up about their Scottish ancestry. I told you before I moved here, I didn't even know being Irish was a thing. Like,
well, you should have done your homework.
Like
It would have taken you 5 seconds.
My mom's first generation American from Ireland, and I never was taught that it was anything.
Oh, it's a thing.
Now I know I did, but
yeah,
you know, in Detroit it was no big deal. Like no one said like, "Oh, you're from Ireland." Like it's just like anything else. I mean, it's not Chaldean, which is the really drum that was being beaten around there. All right, we'll be back. Kevin O'Connell has got a bunch of information that.
Kevin O'Connor.
I'm sorry. I'm just a huge fan of the quarterback, O'Connell. That was so good for the Jets. Caller number 10 of the contest line, 617-931-0985 will score a pair of tickets to see the Black Crows Friday night at the Xfinity Center. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Kevin O'Connor is going to be joining us. A lot of rumors around Giannis and the Celtics. It's pretty interesting. We'll get into that in just a moment.
been Boston's go-to injury attorney for over 30 years. If you've been hurt in a car or work accident, you got to get Glassman. Call all sevens at 617-777-7777 or visit gottagetglassman.com.
From the Town Fair Tigers and Beatles. Dutcher and Hardy. Owen Beetle. Felger and Mass. The Bruins. The Celtics. The Pats. The Revolution. This is Boston's home for sports. WBC FM at HD Boston. 98.5 The Sports Hub. A Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
A Red Sox bid for a season-high tying third straight win denied by Texas last night. Care of a 6-4 Rangers win at Fenway Park. Kyle Higashioka hit an early 3-run homer for the winners. Connolly Early tagged for 6 runs and 11 hits in 4 2/3 innings to take the loss. The Sox continue to float along at 11 games under 500. They'll have tonight off. Toronto comes in to begin a 3-game series tomorrow night. In Celtics news, multiple online rumors have Brad Stevens as a possible suitor for Giannis Antetokounmpo in a trade, but Miami is still seen as the leader. The Carolina Hurricanes are your Stanley Cup champions this morning. They finished off Las Vegas in 6 games last night, 3-0. 37-year-old team captain Jordan Staal was voted the Conn Smythe Trophy winner for being the playoff MVP. And at the World Cup last night, Sweden beat Tunisia 5-1. Ivory Coast beat Ecuador 1-0. Earlier yesterday, the Netherlands and Japan played to a 2-2 draw. Germany beat Curacao 7-1. And after a big win last Friday night, the U.S. will next play this Friday afternoon in Seattle against Australia. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the 99 Restaurants. Visit the Nines this Father's Day weekend for menu specials Dad will love, like the new 18-ounce T-bone steak or their famous colossal lobster rolls. You gotta love the Nines. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
The Sports Hub. 3 legendary franchises on one legendary radio station. It's the Sports Hub.
IYKYK, which obviously YD. Okay?
Dutcher and Hardy, mornings on the Sports Hub.
Getting a lot of attention because he's been talking about the possibility of the Celtics getting Giannis, which is would be very exciting, certainly, and very controversial for a lot of people. Kevin O'Connor joins us. Kevin, hello.
What's up, Fred? I thought I was here to talk about Kyler Murray versus J.J. McCarthy.
Oh, well, listen.
Look at you.
You know that I'm a huge O'Connell guy. After his Super Bowl performance, you had to get him to the Jets and give him all the money you could. It was a big, big thing. But Kevin O'Connor, I apologize. You have to understand that
I chuckled when I heard it. That's great.
I have a tortured soul when it comes to the name O'Connell. So it's good that you're O'Connor, so I can just go from there. But I apologize for that. All right. No, you don't care. But all right. So listen, this is funny how just like controversial it is. But just let's start with this. What are you hearing about the Celtics' interest in Giannis?
The interest Boston has in Giannis seems very, very real. Whether they end up landing him or not, that remains to be seen. But I think anytime a player of this caliber is available, you would think you're going to go for it here. But I think it's bigger than this, though. I think ultimately for Boston, this could be just a non-Tatum roster shakeup where whether they get Giannis or whether they don't, I think Brad Stevens is angling towards making some big changes to the roster here. And we'll see with Giannis. I would expect something's going to happen this week. It does seem like the Bucks want to have some clarity in the days ahead of the draft next Tuesday. So I think we'll see something happen this week, whether it's involving Giannis Antetokounmpo landing with the Boston Celtics or not.
Okay, so the big thing with Giannis to the Celtics, the part B of that was Jaylen Brown not necessarily involved. How does that work? I mean, realistically, or does it not?
Well, I think Jaylen Brown would have to be involved if it's Giannis going to Boston. I think it would be more or less if Giannis is not going to Boston, well, then could Jaylen Brown be split into parts to a different team? could you get Trey Murphy and Herb Jones and Yves Missy from New Orleans or something like that? Would you send him to the Clippers or some type of other type of deal, turning him into pieces rather than just one player making $60+ million? Could you send Sam Hauser out to a different team to make minutes for some of your younger guys? Could you trade a Derek White? I think the fact everything is on the table for Boston other than Jason Tatum does at least indicate that we could be seeing a major roster shakeup here for the Celtics.
How much of this do you think, Kevin, is Jaylen Brown just telling Brad Stevens, I'm done here, I want out?
I don't know. I personally haven't heard that. I have not heard that he's asked out, to be totally clear here. But, I mean, just logically, if you're the Celtics and one of your star players clearly has a pretty significant ego, sometimes to his benefit, sometimes to his detriment, while also being a guy who's going to be getting paid $60+ million, has a big money extension coming up, well over $200 million, and has said things to it that at least indicate, hey, I like being the guy. I mean, I don't care how much Jaylen Brown says, oh yeah, when I said it was my favorite season, it was because we exceeded expectations and the young guys got better. Of course, him saying that is partially because of the fact that he was the guy playing without Jason Tatum. So if I'm the Celtics front office personally, if I were Brad Stevens, I would hate him doing these Twitch streams. I would hate every time I get that notification that Jaylen Brown has gone live. And ultimately, like, that to me is a distraction. And I wouldn't want to be paying him on that next deal. And I think that's the challenge here for Boston. If they do actually end up landing Giannis here, it's going to be because a third team was found that is willing to pay Jaylen Brown that big money extension he's going to be due very soon. That right now seems to be the hurdle for them to figure out.
And you would assume that Boston doesn't want to give him that extension?
I don't think so. I mean, ultimately, I think you look at what's happened with these recent champions. This year, of course, the Knicks, they have so much depth on their roster. And they beat a really good San Antonio team. Last year, Oklahoma City, they had 10+ playable players against a very deep Indiana Pacers team too. And then the year prior to that, with the Boston Celtics, that was a really deep Boston Celtics roster. And I think for Brad Stevens and the Celtics under this new collective bargaining agreement, which has changed since the last time the Celtics won the title 3 years ago, the importance of depth and being able to play 48 full minutes, 48 minutes of having really no weak links on the floor at a time. That's hard to do when you have two guys making $60+ million, unless one of those guys is a top 2, top 3 player in the league, like Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Jaylen Brown, no matter how good he is not that player. He is not that level of a player. And so I think turning him into parts would make total sense if they aren't able to get a Giannis in a return.
There are two sides to this trade. Obviously, there's a lot of risk involved. Giannis is getting injured more. The older he gets, he's 3 years older than Jaylen Brown. And then there's that sign him or don't sign him to that contract extension. But the other side of this is Brad Stevens been pretty good the last 3 or 4 years in shaping and reshaping the roster. It's very easy to trust him with a move like this.
For sure. And I mean, Brad Stevens has also shown he's got guts. Right. I mean, I think that was the big concern I had after Danny Ainge left for Utah and then Brad Stevens took over. It's like, well, Ainge never had fear. He never had fear in trading fan favorites, Isaiah Thomas, trading away Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. I remember when I was a kid, I'm born 1990. The first big deal I remember Danny Ainge making was trading Antoine Walker, a fan favorite. I remember my friends were pissed about that. So that was like the thing that about the Ainge era under the support of Wick Grossbeck, they never had fear. With Brad Stevens, he hasn't shown fear at all either. I mean, trading Marcus Smart, say what you want about him, all the pros and cons. He was a fan favorite. And so I think with Brad Stevens, he's at least shown that willingness that made Boston and Ainge specifically so successful for multiple decades when it comes to making big moves. And ultimately, and by the way, the trade down from 1 to 3, Tatum, Fultz as well. But
blew up on him. Yeah.
I mean, going back to that Ainge era, but ultimately, that's the thing. There's been no fear. And I think with Stevens, he at least can be trusted to round out the edges of the roster with really smart moves. He's drafted well. He's also traded well, except for Vooch. And so I think with Stevens, he can be trusted to make the tough moves, the controversial moves, and one of those would definitely be trading a longtime favorite in Jaylen Brown.
You see, I don't disagree with you that he's obviously done it in the past, but you are still talking about pieces other than your top guy or two. Maybe not in the case of Isaiah Thomas, but he wasn't at the level of Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. So this would still be the biggest move if one of those guys ends up going, or the biggest move to bring someone in Giannis.
For sure. I mean, like the Isaiah Thomas thing, they had the injury issues attached to it at the time and everything else. But ultimately, I mean, like from an emotional standpoint, coming off a top 5 MVP season, his sister had died. He was playing through injury. He had an unbelievable postseason before it all fizzled out. So it was really like an emotionless decision by that Ainge front office at the time. And the Jaylen Brown one, you don't have that other stuff attached. You don't have the emotional aspect, but you do have him coming off a top 5 season of the top 6. He wasn't first team All NBA, but a great season in the MVP conversation. And it really, like Jaylen Brown said yesterday on his Twitch stream, he's like, if you think you've seen the best of Jaylen Brown, you'll regret saying that. I think he's at peak value. I just can't imagine it gets better from here with Jaylen Brown unless he has another year with the ball in his hands all the time. But I think from a pure value standpoint, there's no better time for Boston to sell massively high on Jaylen Brown. And the fact you're even in the conversations for Giannis Antetokounmpo says everything about where his value is today, and it's not going to go up from here.
You know, and this is for Ryan and Nick. If you could, at one point this summer, I'd love to talk to a psychiatrist about the motivation that Jaylen Brown has for doing a live Twitch stream, where, again, he could be solving the world's problems and being the most, he's saving lives with this live Twitch stream, but no one's ever going to hear that. They're only going to hear pull pieces about when he says something controversial. And he doesn't make any money off of it. Certainly any money that affects him at all. So it's absolutely fascinating to me. And by doing this, maybe he helps getting, if he doesn't want off the Celtics, this certainly seems to be helping that happen. But I will give Brad Stevens a lot of credit there, Sam, because, no, I'm just kidding, Kevin, because right after the season, while Jaylen Brown was going, this was my favorite season, Brad Stevens stood up there and went, I knew we weren't going to win. I knew that this was kind of fool's goal all season long. He talked about their record against good teams, and he seems highly motivated to do something. And you bring up Derek White, which would be a big move as basketball goes. Jaylen Brown would be a huge move. You brought up Hauser, which is like neither here nor there to me, but it does sound like he does want to do something. So you've mentioned this, but do you think Brad Stevens, when it's all said and done next season, this is a new look roster in a major way?
I would be floored if the Celtics enter next season with a roster that looks identical to what we just saw this past year. I think there will be changes. I think this is, Brad Stevens seeing the ceiling that this team has reached and knowing that, like, hey, there's a lot of, guys getting paid good money on this roster and some good depth behind them on cheap rookie scale contracts that are worth taking advantage of. But also, I do think this could have something to do with Bill Chisholm, new Celtics owner as well, wanting to put his stamp on the organization as well, and empowering Stevens to go out and be original and get creative and try to improve this team's chances of winning a title. Because look, I mean, the window's open. We've had 8 straight different NBA champions with no repeaters, and none of those 8 teams have won that second title either. But Boston very well still is in that conversation to be a team hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy 1 year from now. And I think they should go all in. To do everything possible to try to win that. And if you can get Giannis, that increases your chances. If you can turn Jaylen Brown into Trey Murphy and parts, then it can increase your chances potentially. So I think for Boston, they will be aggressive in making moves this offseason, and that should be exciting. I know there's probably a lot of Celtics fans that are afraid of breaking up Tatum and Brown and all the years they spent together. But I mean, everything changes. I mean, that's the way it is. Like KG and Pierce played 6-8 years together. It ends at some point, and I think Tatum and Brown had a great run, and ultimately now is probably the best time to get amazing value in return for Jaylen Brown to increase your odds of winning even more moving forward.
And I like that you said that because they've had a lot of opportunity, and they did, like you said, they've won a title, they've done well, but they've had a window. And did they take the best advantage of that window that they could have? It looks like they didn't. So I'm with you. I think that, while you have a player like Tatum, it's up to you to kind of try to figure things out and tweak things to win championships, not play well in the regular season and lose to a Philadelphia team that gets their doors blown off by the Knicks. I mean, I think that if you're a competitive guy and that you're in a front office, that you look at that and go, let's not run this back. You would hope so.
And not only that, I mean, they blow the 3-1 lead last year, but last year they have 2 20-point leads against the Knicks, and they blow those. And like, this isn't to diminish Boston winning the title the year they did, but like, they've had a lot of common failures in the postseason with the way they've blown leads and the way the offense has just completely gone stagnant with different coaches, different iterations of the roster, with Tatum Brown being the core foundation throughout. And the year they win the title, again, this isn't to diminish that, but the run they went on, like there were a lot of hurt opposing stars. Jimmy Butler was out, Donovan Mitchell missed time, and Tyrese Halliburton missed time. And then even in the finals, Luka Doncic was definitely limited by some type of injury. So this isn't to diminish a 64-win team winning a championship, but it does speak to the amount of good fortune Boston needed to win the title during this long 9-year run with Tatum and Brown. And so there's been more failures than successes. And I think for Brad Stevens, if you're looking at this, realistically, sensibly in the mirror, you do know there's something foundationally flawed here with that combination. And how can you improve it? There's no better answer than one of the 20 greatest players ever in Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's still an MVP caliber talent, assuming good health moving forward.
All right, Kevin, real quick, you got a mock draft, and it's interesting. You got Boozer going number 2. And John was telling me before we went on with you that DeBonza has talked to Washington and Utah, and that Peterson, who most people, you have Peterson going 3, most people have him going 2, is only talking to Washington. First, why did you have Boozer at 2 ahead of Peterson? And second, what's Peterson thinking, especially given how his college year went? Why would he only talk to one team?
Yeah, the Peterson thing is very strange. I think Jeremy Wu, I'm pretty sure, reported that over at ESPN. I'm not sure the strategy there, unless they feel some level of certainty that maybe he actually will be number 1. Maybe they feel like there's no point in giving more information to Utah at 2 and Memphis at 3, given the uncertainties around his weird creatine-driven cramping, which I nobody buys that story in the NBA, by the way. I haven't spoken to anybody who's like, yeah, that's the cause of it. It's something underlying that people are afraid of. And ultimately, that's one of the reasons why I leaned towards Cam Boozer with the Utah pick with the second choice. I mean, think about, like I mentioned earlier, Ainge trading down in 2017, the Fultz Tatum year. They brought Fultz in for a workout, and Fultz was immature. He was like very kiddish. It wasn't a great workout. And they're like, are we going to invest a number 1 pick in this guy when we have this great alternative in Jason Tatum, who we really love? Maybe we'll just take him number 1. They trade down, still get him. The rest is history. I just can't fathom with Darren Peterson, and I think he's incredibly talented. Do not get me wrong. He's an unbelievable talent at the high school level. Even in college, despite all the issues, he was so talented off ball. Sometimes he looked like Ray Allen. But the fact is he missed 11 out of 35 games. He missed one of those games 15 minutes before the game against undefeated Arizona, biggest game of his basketball life, and he says, I can't play because he had flu-like symptoms. To me, that's a guy that's just not a gamer, that's finding excuses, and he's called himself a loner. That's not a leader. And whereas you have Cam Boozer as an alternative, who's one of the best players in recent college basketball history, a do-it-all guy on both ends of the floor, I just can't fathom the Ainges over there in Utah taking Darren Peterson with all those questions compared to Cam Boozer being the alternative.
You're not concerned about his size and / athleticism, like his athleticism at 6'8", and the way he plays not transitioning to the NBA?
I mean, yeah, I think each guy you can find some type of flaw you're worried about. I do think with Boozer, he's very much a bruising player with his ability to, go back to the basket. But that can be a strength in a lot of ways too. The fact he's 250 pounds and he's quick off the dribble and he can bruise people, but he can also shoot threes at over 40%. He can run pick and roll. He can post up. He can set a screen. You can run the offense through him at the elbows in the wing position. I just think Boozer has so many different ways to impact the game in a positive manner on the offensive end of the floor that he's going to be a really high-level player. And I think with the Utah Jazz, with their infrastructure around him, Jaren Jackson Jr., one of the better defenders in basketball, they're likely to re-sign Walker Kessler, a really talented rim protector, get Lauri Markkanen in there, versatile wing forward. They have the right pieces to put next to Boozer, where I think there's they can compensate for some of the flaws that he has while also enhancing his strengths. And so Boozer moved to number 1 on my board, and I moved him ahead of DeBonta. I just said, screw it. I'm gonna do it. I think Boozer's just so safe, still with a very high upside, that he moved to number 1 on my board ahead of AJ DeBonta. And that's coming from me, a Brockton, Massachusetts guy. That's where AJ DeBonta and I both were born. But
we know
that affect my rankings.
Don't you worry, Kevin. We're
In fact,
aware.
AJ's dad quite literally texted me this morning during the show.
Oh, really?
So, oh, yeah.
Ace is on the case.
With a video of his son being good. And I'm like, no kidding. I'm aware that your kid's good.
You're on the mailing list, too?
Yeah. Believe me, I don't. He texts Gemelli. Believe me, I don't think I'm alone. If that kid wasn't as good as he was, that dad would be a real problem. All right, Kevin O'Connor. I don't see college coaches going sweet, because I know college coaches don't want to talk to the dad. Let's just say that.
It was only 1 year. BYU got what they got.
Unless you're AJ DeBonta. If you're some kid that coaches don't want to talk to the dad, I can assure you of that. Kevin O'Connor, Yahoo Sports, thank you so much, my friend. We appreciate it as always.
The great chatting with you guys. Have a great rest of your morning.
Take it easy. I screwed up his name, which I don't like being called out for. But Neil O'Donnell, for some reason, is what I was thinking. Just a Neil O'Donnell.
I think John and I enjoy calling you out more than you don't enjoy being called out.
Well, I think that just shows the flaws in your personalities.
I can live with that.
No, it's just about accepting and giving yourself over and allowing other people to experience joy. And if you do that, that says a lot about you. It's a win-win for you.
No, I know. I know how good I am in my acceptance of these things. I think it just speaks of you and John's immaturity and lack of self-esteem that you feel the need to keep pointing out my foibles.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Well, find Jesus, guys. That's all I got to say for you, because you're rotten in hell. All right, we'll be back in just a moment with the award-winning email segment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Center.
Oh, yes. It is time for emails. It's very exciting for everyone. Our email segment is powered by Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers. If you've been hurt in a car or work accident, you got to get Glassman. Don't just send an email. Call all sevens at 617-777-7777 or visit gottagetglassman.com. You can email us. Go to 985thesportshub.com and look for our email addresses. You can see us on social media, including the new Thuppets video at Toucher and Hardy, at Hardy985, or at Fred Toucher, where I've not been very active, and it's admonishing me, Instagram. My Instagram
What's it
payments,
telling you to do?
Well, my Instagram payments have been about $18, down from a high of like $25. But by the way, nothing impresses my kids and their friends more than that Instagram pays me. Like for some reason, and I go, well, it's $18, and it's still just the notion that Instagram pays me, because I guess some of them pay Instagram.
What?
Yeah, to like get the blue check mark, people have to pay. I don't know. My son told me on an airplane, he's like, you should get verified. And I'm like, okay. And I did it like in 5 minutes on an airplane. Now, it did have Wi-Fi, so I did do that. But I did have to take a picture of my driver's license, which I don't know what Zuckerberg's going to do it with it, especially with his cool jujitsu that he does. Remember, he was going to fight Elon Musk in a battle of really well acclimated people. She's speaking to the discipline of jujitsu, that the two of them are up their own asses about it enough that they thought they could fight each other. Someone called in about radio personalities, essentially, that we liked, and we mentioned some, and George says, he's in Italy, he says, thanks for your mention of Neil Rogers on the show last week. I have a new addiction. One would think someone in recovery like you would be more sympathetic to others. That's a little fun joke. Neil Rogers is amazing. There are a zillion show clips on YouTube, and I'm hooked. Incredible to learn that Phil Henry, my all-time favorite, and Rogers were based at the same station at the same time. Had no idea. I just can't get over the guy, gay dude in Florida, doing sports and calling out station management, listeners, advertisers, and athletes. Unreal. Thank you, Fred. That's George in Italy. And, Neil Rogers, the first time I heard him, I was on the way from Miami to Key West driving, and Neil Rogers was telling everyone to sell the company that owned his station stock, and saying what a disaster it was, and was reading the financials and encouraging everyone to sell it, and then was going after Cubans. And in Miami,
in Miami,
I mean, nothing like terrible. It was funny. Like he wasn't, and Cubans were calling and like supporting him, so it was kind of funny too. But yeah, he was as anti-establishment as you could possibly be, and the fact that he was openly gay on a sports station back then is quite amazing too. Like he just did not care. He was going crazy, and I had a job in radio, but I didn't. It wasn't like now. And I was like, this guy, it's gone beyond, Stern, who's great in bed. I like him better than Neil Rogers. But, Stern would attack Tom Chiusano and attack the company and stuff. But I don't know if he ever started reading about how crippled the company that owned the radio station was, and not to invest in them anymore, and everyone sell your stock. That is something I could actually see upsetting a company.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's some things you say in there that just let the talent be the talent. I think when they're reading financial statements on the air and saying what a disaster they are, that takes balls.
I got a text yesterday from my friend Paul. He said, I thought of you in the show yesterday as I was at a party and people reluctantly let my brother be in charge of the music. He's a longtime metalhead, and early in the day, not to frighten folks too much, he was playing some early 70s prog rock. I asked him, who is this? He said, Michael Schenker, era UFO.
Oh! What'd you think of us? Whoa!
Which, I mean, maybe I've heard UFO before. I would not know. What I mostly know of UFO is from listening to our clips of Eddie Trunk.
Oh, you've never heard UFO. I've never heard UFO. They exist only in the mind of Eddie Trunk. I'm not sure that band ever existed. But Eddie, now listen, UFO is playing several ale houses in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie does fly out to introduce them because, I mean, he puts butts in seats. If you follow him on Instagram, which you should, you'll see that he was just in central Illinois not so long ago. Far from any bodies of water, but in Illinois nonetheless. Yes, Jonathan.
We have an email from Amy in Franklin, Massachusetts. Our long national nightmare is over. James Corden has finally found his way back onto the U.S. airwaves. He's apparently hosting a World Cup after-hours show on Fox. He was sipping a super macho pint of beer while interviewing soccer players when I stumbled upon it. Now he's doing a carpool bit. No singing so far, but I have to imagine he won't be able to help himself. Wait! A flute suddenly appeared. Anyway, it's happening Monday through Friday on
That's
midnight.
what they're calling penises.
Not a Buster Jones.
Yeah, I've been sent that an awful lot because it's him going,
Oh, I love sports and ale and things and boobies. I love them all.
I love the way boobies feel and pictures of boobies and ale and sport. And, of course, musical theater, which goes hand in hand with these things. Hardy responded to this. Kim Donahue, who is Dick Donahue's wife, our friend Dick Donahue, a big hero a few years ago. Super Bowl, super odd, but yesterday I told Dick I was watching 2010 Karate Kid with our youngest boys. Dick was at lacrosse, and I kept hearing Fred doing this segment on this in my head. Sunday, I relayed this to Dick about how I could hear Fred doing a whole karate bit, and it was so strange because I couldn't figure it out when he had done this bit before. Well, he comes home after the gym this morning and walks in and says, they are talking about the karate story you told me on Sunday. I actually thought he was pranking me and kept telling him it wasn't funny. So, yes, I have no other helpful premonitions, just your morning scripts. Super odd, I know. Hope all is well with you both, Kim.
What are the odds?
Well, I just keep repeating myself over and over again, so probably pretty good.
Sarah from Everett, who has not checked in a while. Always good to hear from her. Apparently, this was during our quiz of Fred, and Wallach chimed in on this too, of the video vixens from the 80s. Sarah says, I was a booker at a modeling agency in Boston. We represented Billy Perry, Joe Perry's wife. Her and Joe used to come to the office a lot. Joe Perry is a tiny man. She had big boobs. That's Sarah from Everett.
This is the woman that he married, she's saying?
Yes.
No. So Sarah's wrong.
She did not have...
I go Google his wife. She did not have big boobs, or does not have big boobs. I think she's still living. She was younger than Joe Perry, and if Joe Perry's still alive, she's got to still be alive. The way Joe Perry lived his life. No, I would say not big boobs at all. No.
I'm going to have to go back and check from photos and that from back in the day. But Sarah...
she's much more conservatively dressed now that she's older, I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm trying to look for an older photo, but...
For a dog walker, Sarah, in a middle-aged dog walker, Sarah has quite a few run-ins with celebrity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the double, triple prom date, whatever it was, with Affleck and Matt Damon.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I watched this story about a woman who had lied about her pregnancy. She was in a rural, terrible place, wherever it would be. And she had been lying about her pregnancy, and I won't tell you how it ends in case anyone wants to watch this documentary. But they interview these people, and they're from this town, and over again, there's mention of rolling up in a side-by-side, and then they got all this money, and they bought 5 side-by-sides. Do you know what a side-by-side is?
Is that another term for a double-wide trailer?
No, it's some sort of all-terrain vehicle or something that they're talking about. Because it can't be the double-wide trailer because they're pulling up in it.
Yeah, it's
and they
weird,
were buying them, like when they had a lot of money. They bought a $100,000 pickup truck.
A side-by-side is a UTV, a motorized off-road vehicle designed with 2 or more seats placed next to each other, unlike an ATV, which is a single-rider thing.
Yeah, this is like the equivalent of, I don't know, like a Cartier watch in St. Bart's. A side-by-side in whatever horrible place these people exist in.
Yeah, you get a bunch of side-by-sides. You got one that you use for, running around town. You got one that you use for off-road, and you got one they use for hunting.
Because part of the story was that this guy was a pig farmer, but not his own pigs. He worked at another pig farm. But and another thing that they like in these rural areas is having a lot of dogs and keeping them in an outdoor cage.
Yes, the kennel.
Yeah, they love having dogs in an outdoor cage, and it's like a hobby for them. They have dogs in an outdoor cage where it rains and everything. I mean, it's a cage like an outdoor crate basically. It's big and they can walk around in it and jump.
Right.
But, rain can get in and things of that nature, but they love it.
Sarah providing a photo of Billy Perry and Fred. They're not small.
I can't see from here. I'd have to go and pull my glasses down to the bridge of my nose in order to fully get into it. And then, and if they are big, I'll wiggle my eyebrows up and down. How about that?
Okay.
That's how I'll let you know. I don't know. Back in the day, I looked at pictures when I was listening to his book, and I did not see her to be incredibly busty. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Sarah from Everett is right. She gave you that picture?
Yeah.
She sent it?
Yeah, she emailed it to me.
You know what I think? I think Sarah from Everett maybe was looking around at Joe Perry this morning and saw a picture of his wife and then decided to say that she knew them.
No. She worked at the modeling agency. Let me read the email again.
John, you think there's any chance that Sarah from Everett happened to be poking around at Joe
I
Perry
was a
stuff?
booker at a modeling agency in Boston.
Chance, yeah.
We represented Billy Perry, Joe Perry's wife. Her and Joe used to be in the office a lot. Joe Perry is a tiny man. She had big boobs. Sarah F.R. Everett.
I think she was online.
Can you Google when they met? And then that might...
I'll just ask Sarah.
Because I believe they met... We're talking early 80s. So that's another thing. They did not meet when... Because it was the Joe Perry project that they met on a video shoot for. It wasn't clean Aerosmith, in quotations. Clean Aerosmith, 80s resurgence. This is Joe Perry project. That I know for a fact because I remember it from the book. It didn't say anything about her boob size in the book. But it did say... And I'm not getting it confused with the Status Quo book, which which is almost like a Bible to me now. The Status Quo book.
It's your Catcher in the Rye.
No, it's my Leviticus. All right, we'll be back in just a moment to finish everything up, finally.
Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox lost to Tech.
It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
All right, we are Toucher and Hardy. And Hardy, what's going down in the streets, my friend?
Well, on the streets of Washington, D.C., there was the big UFC event on the South Lawn of the White House last night. A success in every way measurable, according to Dana White. And he said afterward, I'll never do it again. Quote, I'll never do the Sphere again, and we'll never do this again. One of one event. He said, not the starting of a trend. He said that it was a huge success from the 200,000 people, estimated, that were on the ellipse over his 2-day fan fest. The weather, for the most part, ended up cooperating. But he said, when asked if he would do it again, even by the president, he said, I need time to recover financially because the UFC reportedly put up $60 million to stage it.
Yeah, and it was a gift to the American people that could be seen on Paramount Plus. Nothing like the gift of getting Paramount Plus.
I thought it was a nice event had I watched it, and I think it would have been great.
I won't watch a UFC event anywhere. And I like Dana White, too, by the way. I think Dana White's
been on the show multiple times.
I think he's a very charismatic guy and obviously a brilliant guy. I don't know anything about his politics or anything like that, nor do I care. But in my dealings with him, I've found him to be very impressive. I just don't care for the product that the UFC. And Daniel Cormier was a really cool guy. Like I got nothing against anyone that fights in it or anything like that. One
of the best events I ever went to was Randy Couture and Tito Ortiz, and we were right down there ringside before that became impossible to do. But yeah, I kind of moved on.
Yeah, I just don't like it. We were in a hotel one time in Nashville before the UFC. I think probably maybe before even the UFC existed. And I'm stopping in 1 second, but this was years and years ago. And we were in an elevator, and my friend looked at me and he goes, why are there so many douchebags with Von Dutch stuff on?
Tap-out shirts.
And tap-out shirts. And we discovered, that night there was a UFC event in town. And we went, that's why there's so many douchebags. I get it. And if you like the UFC, it doesn't make you a douchebag. And who cares what I think anyway? All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.